This was really the thesis I wanted to dig into, right? I mean, we spent the first 3 months of the Trump 2.0 administration focusing on let's buy Greenland again, let's take it over. We're not going to rule out military force. And, I'd been talking to people kind of in the background who said, what's really being discussed here is the national security and the potential for investments within the island. So I met up with Drew Horn, who is a former Trump administration official. He worked in the DOD, Defense Department, and the the DOE, the Energy Department. He was on Trump's team in 2019 that was tasked with figuring out a way to own Greenland, I guess. And so where we came down on this was we took this trip with Drew to kind of see this behind the scenes of like trying to invest in Greenland.
So take us there, because you went to Greenland. Well, first you went to Denmark, I believe, and then you...
I went to Copenhagen for a day.
Yeah, well, Greenland is, I guess I should say Greenland is part of Denmark, but first you went to Denmark proper,
That's
Copenhagen,
right.
to then fly to Greenland. What was it like? How'd you get there? Was it all snow? Just break it down for us.
Partly, yeah. I mean, it was really difficult. People had warned me before I went to Greenland, hey, like actually my neighbor is a flight attendant and said to me, hey, some of my flight attendant friends have been stuck for like 3 days in Greenland. And this was literally a week before I went there. And I said, oh my gosh, okay. And other people had warned me, listen, whatever days you think you're flying in and out of Greenland, just like assume it's going to be a day or two difference. Wow. And that turned out to be the case. I mean, I flew out of Newark on a Tuesday. I got into Copenhagen the next morning, no problem there. And then the day after that, so this is Thursday, I took a flight, 4.5 hour flight direct to Nuuk. I didn't realize at the time that something like 20% of the direct flights from Copenhagen to Nuuk, there's only one per day, had been canceled or turned around or something to that effect. We got in, I thought, no problem. A day later, we fly out to southern Greenland, which is where this actual mine was located.
You flew on a plane or a helicopter?
We flew on a plane to get down there. It was a prop plane, which was kind of cool. We landed, and within moments of landing, it's like the densest fog I've ever seen in my life just started to settle in. And we were supposed to be up the next day in a helicopter to get to this mine. Because getting to the mine from this kind of base camp that we had in southern Greenland, it was either like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour boat ride or a helicopter ride that takes you 15 minutes. There's no driving. There's no other options. Those are the options. The next day we woke up and it was snowing and it was a fog. I mean, I feel like the fog ceiling was like 20 feet above us. I mean, it was straight out of like Harry Potter, when he's like at the end of the whole movie and he's just in this densely fogged area and none of it makes sense. It felt that way.
Does it? And, there's a Big Take podcast that you did with David Gura. It's great. You have some sound from the French helicopter pilot.
Yeah, Pierre.
Explaining to you, about the percentages that you were going to actually get off the ground. I'm not going to give the whole thing away. But it made me think when I was listening to that and reading your story, the actual extraction and processing of this stuff, it's got to be pretty challenging in an environment such as this.
Yeah. Part of that story was just pointing out how hard it was to get to the mine itself. So you add that on top of it is in a type of rock that has still not been processed at commercial scale. It is in a place that currently has no port. There's no equipment there, right? Like it's not like there were roads and early stage equipment. There's not even like a small campsite of people on the site. It's just a mound of dirt on a mountain. So you have to imagine that from that point on, you need to somehow get all the equipment in. You somehow need to basically build out like a small camp to begin digging into the ground. And this mine, Tanbreeze, the deposit is well known as being a serious deposit of critical minerals, specifically rare earths. And, one of the things we point out in the story is that Chinese officials have been to the property before asking about the potential of buying it. We've also heard that Russian officials had been there before. So it's known. But to get it to work, it is still unclear actually how you will get it to work.